Okay, just wanted to talk today a little bit about rubric grading. It's been mentioned before by some of you, and I just kind of want to make a little how-to video about how to set up a rubric, use it in an assignment. So I'll try to make this as short as I can so you don't have to watch a very long video. So anyways, to start off, well, obviously you have to create your assignment. So I'm on the assignments tab right here. As you know, there's a lot of different ways of creating it. The easiest way to create an assignment and get to the rubric section, because there is not a direct way of getting to it. If you say, for example, just click the big blue assignment button, but if you're on the assignments page and click this little one that has our section, so you know if we had our test section and quizzes, this is where I'm at. So if I click the plus button, I get this little shortcut window that has the assignment, the name, the due date, and points, and the sync to PowerSchool check. And so this is a really fast way of creating your assignments also. So I'm just going to create one real quick. We'll just call it a writing assignment. And give it a due date. And some points. Now the points will come into play because my points value had to also align with my rubric values. So when I grade by the rubric, I'm also assigning points, and you can choose to do that. You can actually choose to either use the rubric as the way of grading as far as giving the points, or you can just have it set up as the as a way of giving feedback to the students. But if you do use the rubric for scoring, if you already have points in the total points need to match up with the total possible points you could get with the rubric. So just kind of keep that in mind. So with that in mind, I'm just going to do 10 points for this particular assignment. So I'm going to click Save and Publish. Here's my writing assignment. Now the reason I did this was so I can get to this next page. So right here you can see I have the plus rubric right here. So I can go ahead and add my rubric to the assignment before putting in any content, any videos, instructions, or anything of that nature. And this is important because if you, for example, use an external tool, so if you're using like CK12 or Flipgrid or the Google Docs cloud assignment, if you use an external tool, this rubric button will actually disappear because the way the coding is on the page, and I'm hoping this is something they can fix in a later update, you don't have this option. It doesn't remove a rubric if you already have one. You just can't add it later without first removing the external tool, going in, and then going back out. So that's why I suggested doing from the assignments page so you can get to this. If you didn't do that, and say, for example, we're on this page first when you click the assignment, so this is the normal assignment editor, you just need to make sure you click Save and Publish and get to this assignment page so you can see this plus rubric. Okay? So once you've got your rubric or got your assignment created, or have gotten the shell of it created, you can click plus rubric. And so it starts off with a blank rubric titled Some Rubric. I would recommend go ahead and giving it a title, because you can actually use any rubric from any course throughout Canvas that you've created. So if I go and find a rubric, here are my other Canvas courses that have rubrics in them. And so I can select them and find rubrics that I've used before. So if there's one in particular I want to use, I can grab it and say use this rubric. This one's a little bit more, but I'm going to create one from scratch. So as you can see, I selected from the course the name of the rubric because I gave it a title, and then I scroll to the bottom of my rubric, which will have all of my information right here about it, so I can kind of give it a quick look and click use this rubric to import it into this assignment. So that's a real quick way of doing it. So once you've created a rubric, if there's one that you're going to use a lot, I would highly recommend that, and then using the use this rubric button to pull it over, so that way it saves you some time. Okay, so we're just going to make one real quick. So we'll call this writing rubric. All right, so first you also have to give yourself a description. So since we're writing, let's call this, we'll just go spelling. And if you want a description, you can. If not, you can leave it as is. This is your rubric to use. All right, next you have your points. So right now, the only possible way I can do it is either 5 points or 0 points. If I want to put some in the middle, I can hit plus, and it's going to automatically pop up a window, you know, for the title or anything like that. If I want, I can leave it as is. Actually, I take that back. You have to do required field. So as you can see on this 5 points, it gave half or full marks or no marks. So it's just wanting it. So you can say, we'll call it average. I can also go in and edit. I can also edit the point value. So if I don't want this to be 5 points total, I can do 4 points. But if you notice, this actually adjusted because it wants to make it even. So if the more points I add, it's kind of doing it in a smart way. So obviously you may not set them up this way. I was just doing a real fast version of it. So in this particular criteria, I have 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And I can make this for each section, because when I hit plus criterion, I can do either a new one or I can duplicate this one. So say, for example, I want to use the same exact scoring level and not have to create a different type of point system. I would just click duplicate and do the one that says spelling. If I do new, then I can do the exact same setup, do my or edit the name of it, and then the type of points I can go, you know, 0, 3, 5 or something like that. Or I can do the exact one. In this case, I'm just going to duplicate it. In this case, we're going to call it, let's say, let's just go with grammar. There we go. If I'm happy with this, if you want, you can give more detailed remarks in these, so that way when the student's looking back at their score, they can see that feedback. So this would be really good for some a little bit more hardcore assignments that you use, you know, a formal writing project or anything like that, or just day to day. If you use rubric or want to utilize rubrics in your grading to be kind of the standard that you set, by all means go for it. So I've got to also remember this is a 10 points. So I'm up to a possible 8. So I'm going to do another one, but I'm going to create a blank one. And we'll say on time. And in this case, I'm going to just do we'll just do 2 points. All right, so in this case, they can either get 2 points or 0 points because it was on time. All right, so next we have right here at the bottom, the big one is use this rubric for assignment grading. I'm going to do that. And as you notice, this next one went away, hide score total for assessment results. You can also, I'll write freeform comments when assessing students. That's to say, do you want to use the information up here or do you want to write your own? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and create this rubric. And so now here's my rubric attached. My total points are 10. So the main thing is making sure these match up. If they don't match up, that can cause an issue with scoring, and it's a little bit lesser headache having to deal with it later. So here we go. I'm going to hop into my editor now. And let's just say okay, and since this is a simple one, I could just go in and do submission online, and we'll do text entry. If I want to, I could also do a file upload if I wanted them to write it in a Google Doc and submit it that way. With the text entry, they're just doing a direct, they're not having to create a document, they're doing it within Canvas. So if you need some quick online editing or writing feedback, I would definitely recommend the text entry. And so once I click save, here's my assignment, submitting a text entry. There's my due date. And then if I have any availability, that would be set up here. All right, so now I'm going to go to and switch over to student view. Go to the assignments, go to that My Writing assignment. So, as you can see, they do see the rubric when they go to their assignment, so they can see what you're looking for. So if you have your descriptions here, this will help them kind of understand what you're looking for. So that's another great thing about this. When I go to click Submit Assignment, here's that text entry box. If I had other options, there would be other tabs up here for the submission. So I can just say I worked all summer on new ideas for the school year. And we'll just stick with that. So we'll just go Submit Assignment. All right, so we're done there. I'm going to leave the student view. All right, so now I have my submission. We'll hop over into SpeedGrader. All right, so as you can see, so here's that submission. It's just a text, since it was just a text entry. You can do paper view, plain text view. It's up to you on that. So right here, View Rubric. If I wanted to, I could just type in the score and go about my day. However, I have this rubric set up, and I can move this over so I can see my rubric a little bit better, or I can make the window larger. But as you can see, as I hover over the points, I can assign it. So spelling's good, grammar, your grammar's good, and it was turned in on time. So there's all the points. If I want to, I can also go in and adjust later. I can even add a comment. So once you're done, you click Save, and then click Submit, and now the assignment's graded using the rubric.